Hey traders, my morning video. Some things I'm looking at this morning. The high yield bonds. We are hitting my 100% possible move for my high yield bonds, um, as maybe marking out a potential bottom for the high yields here. Let's go out. We have to go out 3 years, I guess. And basically, I have. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to go out longer. Um, since the 2009 crisis, we haven't had a crisis like this since then. So basically, this I did fib extensions from this last sell down, and then I did a similar extensions. We are at the 100% move right now, but unfortunately, last time we got down to these levels, that didn't act as the bottom for the high yield bonds. This is going to destroy American businesses. The When the bonds collapse like this, that means yields are going through the roof in corporate bonds. This is going to create a massive credit squeeze, credit sort. There is going to be a lack of being able to get capital in the markets as soon as they burn through their cash. They are not going to be able to issue new bonds, or even when the bonds mature, they're going to have to get the pay higher yields. So all these companies that have been buying back stock and issuing corporate debt to finance it, they are just about to get rocked. So this is a very worrisome situation going forward here in the corporate bond market. So far this morning, all the trillions the Fed's pumping into uh, the economy, it's like $1 trillion a day for liquidity they're putting in. As of last week, we were started dumping our bonds, giving us a warning sign that the power of the Fed to manipulate the markets was unwinding, and people that we may have finally put in a significant top in the U.S. Treasury market. Very worrisome situation unfolding here. It may take some time for it all to come undone, but something to that we may have a significant top in our bond market here. As of about midnight last night, we did get a continuation bid to the upside for the bonds, which the was which quite healthy here, and it's helping support the markets this morning. But as you see, it looks to me like we are flagging out and potentially going to be rolling back down today on our bonds. So keep that in mind going forward here on our bond markets. And something that's confirming that we are right back marking last week highs on the US dollar on this significant breakout on the dollar. The investors are pulling their money out of the bond US treasuries, and they're parking it in the cash because we have a breakout. They're getting paid to put money into cash as it trends higher, where they're not getting paid hardly anything on the treasuries. So until this pattern reverses, it's going to be very dangerous for the U.S. Treasury markets. And that's what the Fed's doing, pumping all these trillions of dollars into the markets, trying to make sure that they can keep the dollar, depress the dollar with all the extra liquidity they are putting into the markets. And so far this morning, that is not working. So keep that in mind, on the back of your, thinking about that as you are trading in today's session. So far this morning, we are catching a little bit early in the AM with a gap to be filled right above us on the ES futures. We do have a wedge pattern here that for the completion of the wedge pattern, and I did say in my weekend video, this is my target market maker move low for the week. A lot of reasons to think we are going to be coming down here this week, and instead of rallying, this being the end of the down move, in my opinion. So keep that in mind going forward here. The NQs actually performing a little better than some of the other indices. So you have to keep that in mind. I was hoping to see an underperformance of the Qs coming into today's session. We are not getting that, so I'm less bearish than I was initially coming into today's session. But we are at about a 30% sell-off so far on the Qs, and we do. But like I said, I want to see some selling pressure in the semiconductors and some of the FANG names going forward in today's session, hopefully. And then so far this morning, the Russell, we are trading right back down to recent lows. I do think the Russell has more downside potential. I don't have it on this chart, do I? No, it's on the IWM. But we're back to the lows uh, of this sell-off on the Russell. And the IWM this morning, you can actually see it. Might be able to see that on that too. Basically, I do think we are coming back down to the 88 area so that's another $10 move lower for the Russell, setting up here for continued selling, especially since they're playing politics as usual in Washington, giving a lot of downside pressure going forward into today's session, in my opinion. Okay, some of the news items hitting the tape. 1 second here. 1.4 million. So we really had a major influx of trading since 7 o'clock this morning. So volume is starting to pick up here in the markets, especially the SPYs. As you can see, they are down considerably this morning, but SPYs are starting to get lighten up here. So keep that in mind going forward. And seeing as that, let's see what's happened since 7 o'clock on our SPYs. See if they're continuing to catch a bid. No, selling pressure. Selling pressure since, so we are breaking new VWAP as we speak on the 5 minutes on our SPYs. That's actually more of a bearish tone. And the crude was up over 1% in the overnight session. And so far, it's breaking the VWAP as well. Bearish scenario going forward into the open so far this morning. So another one to be on watch. And also keep an eye on your crude. Like I said, the dollar is catching a bid, and they were dumping gold for cash last week because the liquidity squeezes. So keep that in mind going forward here. Gold looks like it might be breaking the VWAP as well. So that's another one to keep on your watch. So not a lot of bullish signs going forward here on these markets, in my opinion. As far as okay, and then on my other scans, on my NASDAQ scan this morning, top scanners here, we do have Apple, AMD, Microsoft, Tesla. So basically some of our major ones. Gilead, news came out this morning. We do have a little bid under it right now, but they said trials of their drug for the coronavirus thing, they have that on hold. So keep that in mind going forward here in today's session on Gilead. That it is actually more bearish on that. And there was news out also, Facebook, that they have been over inflating their ad audience on Facebook. So that is bearish news potentially for Facebook going forward here. Okay, that's two of them that I'm seeing here. Okay, other things going on in this market. Okay, Nvidia's getting rocked. Amazon's getting rocked. So yeah, things are getting rocked, but the Qs do seem to be outperforming the other indices. So something to keep in mind here. It's down 2.5% versus the S 3.23%. I prefer seeing on a really bearish tape. I want the Qs to be leading to the downside on any type of a major sell signal in my markets. The Dow is really catching on the chin this morning, so keep that in mind going forward. The Dow Jones is actually so let's see here. Let's do a percent loss thing here real quick. Let's see what's going on here. The Russell's leading. So we got our Dow. Well, that didn't add up, right? What's going on here? There we go. There we go. So we got our Dow Jones. It's leading to the downside, and then we have our ES behind that, and then our Russell's doing. That's more of our risk on area. It's not quite as bad. So basically, our more risky speculative areas in the market aren't selling off quite as hard as our more safer areas in the market. So something to keep that in mind. The selling pressure is a little bit less severe as we're getting accustomed to coming into a Monday session. Okay, as far as news goes and stocks, Boeing. Boeing news, they were really counting on that stimulus stuff news to hit today's market. It is up slightly. It did have an upgrade up a few pennies. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to sneeze. Wait 1 second. Okay, on Boeing, on this accelerated downtrend, the white line, that's whenever, when we cross that white line, that's whenever we actually head into the bullish scenario going forward here on Boeing. And right here, right now, we're still seem to be a little bit early on that potential move. And if you go out here on, let's go out a weekly. Yeah. So basically, Boeing on this line here, we're between the 80 and 90% off for Boeing at this price point. So let's see, we're between the 70 and 80%. So we're hovering 70 to 80% off all time highs, and just in relatively short order on Boeing. And so that's, it's still giving me bear flag signal until proven otherwise. So something here, I do want to be a long for Boeing at some point, but it looks like politics as usual is going to keep Boeing trapped down here today. They did have an upgrade to 173 for Boeing, but they had an upgrade last week to 150, and they sold it off even in face of the upgrades. So something to keep in mind going forward here. CMCSA Comcast had an upgrade to $33 or $38 today. Something to keep on your watch going forward here. It's not catching any type of bid whatsoever on the upgrade. Netflix could be a player if markets decide to hold up here. I think it's pretty risky myself. Does have a nice $5 up bid on Netflix. They are upgrading it to $4.15, so that's I believe that's all-time highs for, or right near all-time highs for Netflix going forward here with the coronavirus thing hitting. Okay. Okay, Bristol Myers this morning got a downgrade to $50. So something to keep on watch if you want. It's selling off this morning. We had 2 upgrades in the railroads. So this is something to worry about. I like to be bearish in the markets, but I don't like being bearish in the face of upgrades in the transports. So this is something that I am definitely keeping on watch. We are trading. Well, it's hard to tell right now. The spreads are too wide right now to tell. The volumes are not showing up on the morning session on these upgrades, but it's something to keep on watch going forward here. Union Pacific, and it got upgraded to 125. So that's not very far from here at all. So that's actually a downgrade in my opinion, considering the sell-off we've had. And they've upgraded CSX to 47. That's below what price it closed at. So these upgrades are really pathetic, in my opinion. They upgraded Visa, which Visa is really going to get hit hard because all the big ticket sales are shut down for this quarter. You don't have any travel, you don't have any leisure, you don't have any amusement parks. People, aren't going to be making any big ticket purchases unless you can get it off Amazon and a home theater system or something. That's about the only thing you're going to be buying. I mean, and but they did upgrade uh, Visa to 190, so something to think about right here. It's marking lower as we speak for Visa. Shopify, they lowered price target on it to 150 or wait to 500. They lowered price to 500 on Shopify. So something to keep on watch. I mean, that's considerably up here, but taking a $10 haircut in the morning session as we speak for Shopify. So far this morning, they don't really give a diddly about that upgrade. So something to keep them, how, morning price action, is there anybody even interested in these upgrades? And so far, we're not seeing it. Polar Optic Networks upgraded to $200. Not showing any type of buying interest so far this morning at all. They don't really care what's going on. Coca-Cola upgraded. This is one that's probably going to catch some action today. Upgraded to so it's selling off so far today. We did have an upgrade to $44 on Coca-Cola. So something to keep on watch here. This might be a bottom fishing candidate. And Pepsi got an upgrade this morning. Okay, and it was upgraded to 132. Something to keep on watch going forward here in today's session. So far, it does have a slight bid in Pepsi. So they are up just slightly, ever so slightly on Pepsi this morning. And then another big news, Altria. The CEO caught coronavirus. He is in the hospital. So, and remember, anybody who's been a smoker, they are extremely susceptible to coronavirus and the lung damage that it causes. And so this is the big headline news on the CEO front, catching the coronavirus in the weekend session. And so that's probably going to be a major negative for Altria going into today's session, in my opinion. So basically, that's a quick rundown of some of the stuff I'm seeing in this market. And then we'll look at my high flyers real quick here. Apple, obviously, we're at the 30% mark here. We are marking down almost $6 versus the Friday close. We saw that they were just absolutely destroying Apple into those. They're taking another $6 haircut off of Apple this morning into my next fib fan level as we speak. Really looking ugly for Apple going into today's session. Microsoft, you would have thought the volumes would be higher, justifying this sell-off. Microsoft's already coming into my levels really close here, so something to keep on watch going into today's session. It is on a sell signal as well. That's about a $3-4 sell off for it. And as I said in my weekend video, we really got to watch our semiconductors where they are at. We are nearing range lows for AMD here going into today's session. NVIDIA's taking a nice little haircut back down to range lows. So we are breaking the midline on our SMH as we speak this morning. MU back down to range lows as we speak here. So all of these are suggesting continued sell action in the semiconductors this morning. So keep that in mind going forward in today's session. Facebook, like I said, news is out. They overstated their ad stuff, and I said it hasn't even back tested the midline yet. So I really think there's a very high probability we're going to hit the market maker move low for Facebook this week. It's one of my favorites to the short side, and to be honest. And then we also have Amazon's taking one heck of a haircut this morning, down to 815. I still think the Amazon is a better buy down around in the 1600 range, given the relative disaster in these markets. So I don't even want to buy this pop in the Facebook. So you can see this uptrend we were in. We have broken that uptrend so far in this morning session. I don't really want to have anything to do with Amazon, in my opinion, going forward here. Is there any others? 1 second here. Let me look, see if there's anything. Oh, Tesla. Tesla, another haircut. So we're off about $10 off Tesla this morning. So no biggie on Tesla this morning. So just some things that are happening in this morning. There is stuff happening under the hood. I am still leaning more to the bearish side going forward into this market today. And I don't think the financials have hit a floor yet. We are getting selling pressure in the financials as I had spoke. We are breaking. Here we go. Here we go. Whenever you're marking a new lower low in the pre-market session, you know the market in the financials, you know the markets are not on solid footing going into the morning session. So that right there, this is the number one tell that selling pressure is likely to mount in the morning instead of buyers coming into the market, in my opinion. Okay, that's all I got to say here. Basically, like the video if you like it. Leave some comments below and stuff. My handle on Twitter is Gumby9662C. I will have it on Twitter. Please retweet my video if you can. I had a really great viewership on my weekend video. Hopefully this morning video will help you out as well. But basically, I am really focusing on shorting the semiconductors. That's my primary focus for today if they set up for me. So, basically, I'm just going to go with my alerts, and see what seems to be alerting early in the morning hours. But so far this morning, everything that I'm seeing here suggests that my bearish bias for the open is valid. Okay, thanks a lot.